Hello, you're listening to the Game Club podcast presented by the Terrible Video Gamers Club. The Game Club is our version of a book club, but for video games. I'm your host, Tyler Schatz. Joining me this fine day are Gary Delaney.
Just the winner. I'm just winning. Just winning.
Stephen Howard.
Slightly less winning than Gary.
And joining us for the first time, Mr. Alex Purdy.
Hey, I showed up. How's it going, everybody?
Yes, welcome. Glad you could join us this time.
Yeah, last time, I don't know if you guys know this, but I decided I should mow the lawn. And I knew in the back of my head there was something I was forgetting. And then I mowed the lawn, I checked my phone. Actually, I got to where I have my lawnmower, which is, it's a long story, but it's not at my house. I go get it, and then I see my phone has been blown up by Tyler with, "Hey, you gonna join us? We're waiting for you." And then I said no.
Wasn't it like 90 degrees that day too, that you were mowing your lawn?
Who knows?
It's like every day the past week it's been like
Yeah.
90. Pick
Fair.
a day. All right, so we have spent the past 2 weeks here playing our first selection, Spiritfarer. Well, actually, wait, I got to back up here. Alex, since you're joining us for the first time, a little introduction to the audience, please.
Yeah, my name is Alex. I am a lover like these guys of video games and other things. But yeah, I've known these fine gentlemen here for a few years now, and I don't know what else to really say about myself. I like playing mostly multiplayer games, but I really enjoy a good single player game with a really good story. That's kind of my crack, to be honest. Maybe not the best euphemism there, but yeah. That's kind of a little bit about me. I chose Spiritfarer as one of my few choices because, well, it was an accident. I didn't mean to choose Spiritfarer. I actually meant to choose Moonglow Bay, and like the guys here were joking about with me, those two names are not at all close. I just knew it was a game that involved water and a boat and fishing and cooking and helping people, and in that way, these two games are similar. But in every other way that you can possibly think of, they are not at all similar.
So
Go ahead, Gary.
Alex fucked up the name. I thought that when I heard this story, I thought that Alex said "Oh yeah, I want to play this," and Tyler was like, "Hey, I don't know, was this some?" I led to look it up. It was just some random game.
I'm pretty sure I said the name Spiritfarer, and Tyler was like, "Yeah, that sounds about right." I know I'd heard of the game before. It's not like I was a complete noob to the fact that this game existed, but it was not what I meant to pick. So when I discovered that, it was funny, but hopefully we're all happy that it ended up being a choice. So I think I'll give a little introduction to the game. If you don't know about Spiritfarer, it's a game about, well, it's described as a cozy management game about dying. And every review I'd ever read about it before we started playing was you need to be prepared to be sad. And you know what? It is summertime sadness, so great time for it. But it was released back in August 2020 initially. It's since been kind of released on some more platforms, I'm pretty sure. But the developer is Thunder Lotus Games. Available on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, PC, Mac, I guess, too, and even Google Stadia. Won a lot of awards, more than I probably want to try a list off. But yeah, that's kind of a good introduction to it. The premise is you play as a character named Stella, who basically gets handed over the keys to become the new ferry master to the deceased. So you take your boat and you go around kind of meeting new characters, new spirits, and you kind of help them transition and learn about them and make them happy and all sorts of things before they pass on. So, yeah, of the four of us, it sounds like Gary here has the most time played by a exponential amount. So
I played more in one setting than I think all of, well, at least I can see all of them combined. I don't know what Perd's actual time is. Perd's, according to Xbox, it says 35 minutes, but based on where he said he was, I think he's maybe an hour in.
Yeah, my initial experience with the game, like a lot of games, I have bad luck with game-ending bugs. Some of my favorite games ever. The first time I played through Skyrim, I got to a game-ending bug when I was just addicted to it, and that is still salty to me. No Man's Sky, I finally got into that a few years after it released and was no longer horrendous. And same thing, I got an infinite loading bug with that one and had to restart. Same thing with this one. I got past the main tutorial, quote unquote, area where you kind of just learn the very, very basics. You learn about yourself. And then I went to this jellyfish area, which I think is an area most people will go to towards the beginning. And my boat just stopped and it wouldn't go anywhere no matter where I clicked on the map. And I couldn't do anything.
You tried sleeping?
I don't think I tried sleeping, and I'm going to pretend that wouldn't have worked because otherwise I'll be mad because I had to restart with a new save, and I got to listen to the Spiritfarer do his talk, and which is my favorite part of the game probably. But yeah, bad luck on my part. Maybe that's why it's a little bugged with the gameplay time. I don't know, but I know I spent more than 35 minutes on this wonderful
You talked about the game-ending bug, and we can go into it later, but I actually ran into something very similar. Same character, same thing, but I was much further down the story, and so I understand what not being able to get the jellyfish to attack you feels like, and it was pretty shitty.
Yeah. Well, so what was your initial impression of it, Gary? Did you like the game? So you played over a day's worth of time, and I want to know, you must love the game then, right?
No, I don't. I think it is there's good pieces. There's just bones of a good game. But they have two things that probably are unique to me and that I don't like, and you're going to laugh, and you guys are going to be dicks about it. One, I don't like games where you have to read a fuckload. Just an epic fuckload. Just ungodly. Of the 1 day, 2 hours, I would say at least 3 hours of that is reading. Like, not doing anything, just fucking mashing X, be like, this character can just shut the fuck up and tell me where the hell I need to go.
So you didn't read what they had to say, you didn't experience the full...
general idea of it, and I was like, here's what I need to do. Hey, what do you need? Like, it's sort of like listening to someone who's gonna tell you a half an hour story when all that happened is that they slipped, they fell, and they shit their pants. Like, I didn't really need that much context. Like, I know what I need to do to help you. I'm just here to help. Like, I don't need to hear the fucking whole goddamn story. Let's just move. Let's move towards helping you and getting you to the finish line. So that was one, and obviously other people enjoy like text-based adventures a little more than I do, and that's fine. Secondly, the fucking sleeping mechanic can go die and eat a fucking dick. Because as somebody who's like, obviously I put a shitload of time in it, if there's something that breaks momentum in this game, it's like, okay, like, what do I need to do next? It's like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and then it's like, you moved 2 feet, but like everyone on your boat's asleep, and when you need to sleep, the boat stops completely. You cannot get the boat to continue moving until you like go to bed, come back, and if they wanted that mechanic, I think I would have just enjoyed it better if I could just sleep where the fuck I was standing, because like I'm on my boat trying to do shit, and it's like, oh, I gotta walk to the front of the boat, go into a door, go up the stairs, sleep, come back down the stairs. I think it just breaks the momentum of the game.
Well, I think the game is designed to, you're not supposed to rush through. I think it's supposed to be like a...
However...
You slow, it's kind of like, I think of Pokemon, it's like it takes forever to walk from one town to the other or something. It ruins your momentum when you want to go to this gym or something, but however, it's all about the journey.
As the positive of it, I enjoyed the like sort of resource and community building aspect where you needed to get this resource, and when you got enough of this resource, you could build an asset, and then you use that asset and you mine some more resources and use that to use the next thing, and finding people and helping them to have a mission from one place to another, gaining skills that you're in an area that you begin in, but you can't access everything because you don't have the skill sets yet. Based on what I'm like a 1 to 2 hours in, do any of you guys have anything past the first skill? Like you have double jump, maybe glide?
Yeah, I have double jump.
All I got was double jump too.
Yeah.
Or did you get to? Okay, so the total skills you get: double jump, glide, zip line. So if you ever saw little electrical wires hanging places, that's zip line. And then there's a bounce. So if you ever saw things you could randomly bounce on, there's a better version of bounce. That was as far as I got. And that's 50% of the way through. But yeah, it that aspect got better. Like but there still were people that just talked to me. So in your 2 hours with the game, did you bring anyone to the gate yet?
No.
Holy fuck.
I started getting, I think I got on the point where I was going to start getting Snake Lady to the gate.
The Elk Lady is the first one you get.
Oh,
So-
God. Yeah, no, I get her, but she stayed on my boat.
I think you could go multiple ways. I don't think there's any one set way. I did think that, I think it's Gwen, right? Is the elk lady. I
Yeah.
thought you had to kind of learn all the ropes through her, but I could be wrong.
Also, each individual character has a skill or like something in your ship that they like really love and they'll support, and they want you to get new resources. So if you meet a new character, they tell you like, oh, well, dude, I think you need a crushing machine. I said, oh, okay, well, I don't have the freaking resources. I need to find this random resource. So it's kind of a grind. If you want to know a lot of that time, it's like figuring out where this resource is. I need this one resource to get the next thing to move forward to get the resource. So that was a lot of the grind. But yeah. So to explain, I think I took a picture of how many people I had, and I'll probably pull that up, but it was definitely, it got better, and there were some fun missions, but it was a lot of play one place to another place. Tyler or Steven, I've been talking a lot. Do you have any opinions?
So I also had a hard time getting into this game, but I had a very different reason that I had a hard time getting into this game. And that wasn't because of the game really itself. It was a me thing. And the game itself, I opened up the game and I didn't know exactly what to expect. And it's a gorgeous game. That is the first thing I noticed. It is absolutely gorgeous. The animations are smooth. It is the drawing style that it has on it is just kind of this. It's simple, but it's also elegant, and it evokes, I'm assuming, what the game wants it to evoke, and that is a peaceful kind of time around what you're doing. And even with the jellyfish crazes that we're talking about, even during the jellyfish time, you're still walking around and your character's smiling, and it has this little cat, and I love the little cat. I'm going to talk a lot about the little cat because that was my favorite part. But it's everything is built around the idea of it being a very relaxing game, a game that really you can zone out in, and a game that is supposed to be cathartic. It's supposed to work with you on emotions of loss and stuff like that. And I am not that type of person. I don't really say what you want. I don't deal with loss like that, and I don't play games for that reason. I don't play games just to kind of zone out in that sense. I play games to get really immersed and to trade worlds. And I like my games to be super complex. And this was kind of the opposite of what that game is. And that was really the big reason why I had a hard time getting into it. It's the opposite style of games that I like so much. For what this game is, though, and for what I saw of it, I appreciated the heck out of it. I really enjoyed when I was able to get into the game slightly sometimes. I really enjoyed just a kind of the atmosphere of that, but it's not an atmosphere I like to play in.
Yeah,
Did you mind the text-based like reading thing? I just would have preferred a game with voice actors. I think if this whole game they just hired, even if it was just like one like dude to do all the voices, it would have been 5 times better for me.
I gotta be honest, I actually liked that, and I liked the fact that like they had their little grunts, and so the moose does a little like thing like this. Alex can do the Charon's.
Yeah, there's voiceovers. I know what you're talking about, Gary.
Spiritfarer.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the intro was like just poking you with a fucking needle for me, who's like, I would just like this voice actor, and it was just like mumbling the first to the last syllable of this thing, and I'm just like, you're just being a dick now.
No, I liked that. It allows you to input your own idea of what that character is and what that character would sound like into that character's voice.
There's something to be said to that.
And I don't get me wrong, I understand what you're saying about not wanting to read a lot in a game, but I come into games wanting to read a lot, so just different there.
And I want to zone out and like listen to the story, because I have to look at a computer all day, so I don't really want to like have to really focus. I want to just play the game with my thumbs. I don't want to have to like be so immersed in trying to read.
It's kind of the nice thing about kind of being forced, if you want to call it that, to play a game that you're not really used to, is you either affirm that you don't like that game, or you might realize that you like it a bit more than you thought, and that opens up your game genre to a whole new world.
Definitely.
As I said, this game got better after the first hour. Once you got past that like learning curve, and I could just all out just run and just go places, much better.
Tyler, you haven't really given your thoughts yet. What kind of do you want to throw out there about the game?
I would echo Steven that the game looks absolutely gorgeous there with the art style for the game and everything. But for me, like, I played it just under 2 hours, or like a couple of minutes, just under 2 hours, and just something about, I think the introduction was just kind of slow enough to the point where it's like, I just don't really want to keep trying to go through this if this thing's going to keep going this slow to try and bring me into the game. I was enjoying like it for the most part there, but it just took too long to kind of get going to where it's like, I don't know if I can keep kind of playing this, and I will admit to some nights when I came home this week or whatever, it's just, I would rather go lie on the couch than sit down and play a game that was kind of a chiller game. Like it was more passive than anything. It wasn't like an active game I had to be completely engaged with, but it's just like, all right, well, I'll just sail here, do stuff, sail over here, do some more stuff, and that was about it.
I kind of thought of it as
I did not think a passive game. I did not like. I think it is a very like, what the fuck do I need to do next? Like it's a very frustrating game.
Well, I was gonna say I've played like a lot of these kind of like management games though and stuff like that, where you have to kind of be thinking of what are you doing next, what's the next objective that you're going towards, and everything like that. Like especially with like Sims or City Builder, stuff like that. Like it's less complex than that, so it wasn't like enough to kind of keep me fully engaged. I mean,
I think it got much more complex.
I'm sure it gets much more.
I didn't know what the fuck I needed, so there was 5 resources. I could see at some point, you can see like a shitload of things I can build or a shitload of upgrades, but I don't know what piece I'll get next. So you have to go everywhere and try to figure out what the hell this piece is I can get, and then try to move forward. Also, like, I don't know, I had to look it up. I had 10 spirits, and I killed or brought 5 of them to the afterlife.
You can tell Gary did not get the premise of this game. I killed 10
brought them to the
spirits.
afterlife. Okay, so that's why I asked if any of you brought anyone to the Spirit Gate. Because, as I said, I did not like the blah, blah, blah of the text messages. The Spirit Gate is easily a 2-minute canoe ride that is a lot of silence and a lot of, like, blah, blah, blah. 4 different, like, blah, blah, blah sections. And I didn't completely zone out. Like, I was like, okay, well, this is their character and that. But I didn't dive into every word of what they were saying, Steven.
But Gary, I think that's kind of what Alex and Chatsy mean when you're saying that you didn't. It sounds like you were trying to Zerg rush through the game, just get through it as fast as possible. And this is very much a game that is meant to be taken slow, like what Chatsy was saying. You're supposed to get in here And I don't. You're supposed to just kind of coast on it. That's why it's a 2-minute boat ride, because you're supposed to coast on it. You're not
So
supposed
think
to be.
about what you're about to do.
Yeah.
Contemplate it.
I guess how I
Try.
would play a game is that, like, if you're gonna give me a 2-minute boat ride, you should give me a fucking voiceover so I can go to the kitchen, grab a Mountain Dew, and like absorb the situation while I mentally reset in the game, instead of like, okay, I gotta sit here and I gotta mash X because I need to get to the end of this so I can actually I can go on to the next task. And that's how I approached it. Was more of a city builder, and there was some stories, but yeah, obviously not the target market for this game.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna make a joke that they should have given Gary an assault rifle on the boat ride and had him defend the boat all the way.
Yeah, then he would have been into it
Okay,
with only voiceovers.
Yeah,
So-
Morgan Freeman just constantly talking to him the entire time while he's shooting jellyfish with an assault rifle.
Good shot, Gary.
so I took pictures of, as I said, I'm using as a city builder. I took pictures of the boat upgrade place. I had every blueprint boat upgrade. I had all but the last boat size upgrade, and I was maybe like 3 away from boat improvements. Boat size was the thing where I was like, I'm just grinding. I'm just like planting flowers, selling them, using the mat cash, making a bigger boat, to the point where the boat gets really tedious and time consuming because so much shit gets so spread out.
That makes sense.
But I had 2 gardens, 2 fields, 3 orchards. Like, because as I said, I'm using as a city builder, I'm trying to farm things and get to the next step. So anyway, I just thought it was interesting. Like, this is definitely not my alley, but I obviously just Zerg rushed through it, as you said.
Some of my thoughts were, one, I like the calm ambient music. That's so my vibe. I sit at work and listen to that type of stuff for most of the day whenever I'm trying to focus. And I got to listen to a lot of it when I was frantically smashing spacebar and stuff trying to move my boat, and got to listen to the windy air. Anyway, so I really enjoyed the music as well as the art, to kind of echo you guys. I did have a random thought, and you guys had mentioned this, and it kind of jogged my memory. I remember thinking when it was first starting and it was kind of sunny, but still had this like kind of atmosphere of what am I about to do type of thing. Like, this would be a great game to play in the winter when you got nothing going on. For some reason, when I kind of like Tyler when he was saying he didn't want to come in and play it in the middle of the summer type day, as like, this isn't a game I want to play when it's nice out. Like, I kind of want like what Gary has, fast paced, exciting, but if it was winter and like cold outside and you were stuck in, then I feel like you might enjoy it more. I remember thinking that for whatever reason, but
I think the way you actually get someone to pass on is, I think you have to upgrade their house, and you have to do like, I think 1 or 2 missions for them.
it's a certain level of happy, right, before they'll pass on.
I don't even think that's. I think the mechanic is the more you upgrade their house, the more content they are. So almost at the point where you upgrade their house, they're like almost auto spawning happiness, and all you have to do is feed them.
So are you telling me that material wealth is the way to get me through the afterlife?
It's either that or you gotta feed them too, occasionally. Like, I just didn't feed anybody, but once you get like 5 different dudes on your boat, like, as you're just walking around, like, these characters walk up to you, like, hey, I got a bone to pick with you, motherfucker. I'm like, I'm hungry. You need to feed me. I'm like, okay, here, have some cherries, have some apples, just go away. So my Zerg rush spawn of it is that anytime you see somebody, you feed them and you give them a hug.
Well, Gary, a piece of life advice: don't do that in public, okay?
Feed them and give them a hug. Anyway, but I thought, and I still think it was a fun game, even as much as I rushed through it. It was just fun.
Oh, so now it's fun. Gary,
Yeah, what the heck, Gary?
It's a 6. It's a 6 out of 10 game. Some of the game is pretty. No one would deny the game is super fucking pretty. But like, I also was trying to cook a bunch of things and like trying to use all the cooking combinations. Because at some point early on, before I just said, fuck it, I just need to build all these things in these people's houses, you're supposed to like find what their favorite foods are and their not favorite foods. The frog guy, I don't know if you got to the frog guy, he'll eat anything. Like, and he's the kid, like, you could give him anything, but when you got to the later people, I don't like carbs. I don't like simple foods. So you couldn't have one ingredient foods. You couldn't have, like, there was I think the snake was a vegetarian.
Yes.
So you had to give everything vegetables. So, I don't know. There's some, and then the frog guy, spoiler alert, spoiler. The frog guy, you have to make meals for 3 other people on the boat. So you have to find these very intricate recipes and make these recipes for the other people on the boat, and then you have a family get together. So,
Actually, Gary, I wanted to ask about that. As you got further in, it seemed like all these characters were focused as actual family members of Stella. Is that continuing?
oh fuck me!
Yeah,
I wasn't reading. I wasn't reading.
Oh.
I got the sense that the elk lady maybe was related to you, but I didn't.
Sure.
As I said, like when you just trying to get through all this excessive talking, I just like, I don't know who this person is. I just want to figure out if I can join my boat. I just want to figure out if this random person will join my boat or not, or if this random person in all these islands is actually just an NPC that'll just like go waka 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 and then walk away, or if it's somebody who has a mission for me. Like, that wasn't, as signage goes in a game, I didn't get a good sense of visual signage to who had a mission for me and who was just background material. Like, that was frustrating. Like, because literally I just had to walk up to every person and just poke them and be like, hey, do you have anything to talk to me about? And then go up to the next person, you got anything to talk to me about? And then you go to the vendor and you buy some seeds and you plant more seeds. And
Gary had a very specific way of playing this game.
Yes.
I went to every island. I figured out what I could get, and then I tried to figure out if I get a spirit on this island, start some storylines, go to the next island. But as I said, like, once I got to the point I'm at now, like, you have to go into one end of the fucking map to the other, and then you start using the bus system. I don't know if you guys saw the weird seal bus system.
No.
If you saw little square icons on the map, those are bus stations. So you have to sail your boat to this bus station, go talk to the seal. The seal will, like, do a backflip in the air with magical shit, and then it'll transport you to another bus station via, like, a fast travel. So...
I can confirm, I remember reading this previously, like, a while ago, I feel like, but I just double-checked that, yes, all the characters you meet, I guess except for one, are former... They're related to you in some way. You know them some way in life.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I thought it's still interesting to, like, sort of craft the things and you make them a home on the boat, and then they pass along, and then you have a permanent just tombstone for them on your boat because you cannot delete their building. You can't delete their homes. So if there's a reason you need a bigger boat, it's because literally, I think I showed you guys a picture of my boat. Everything in the upper left are houses that are from the people that are already gone. Like, I have a lounge, I mean,
I shouldn't be surprised by that. You're literally replacing Charon, but still,
Charon.
That's morbid.
Charon.
Also, I guess, how did you guys organize your boat? I put all the people's houses up at the top, and I put all my factories at the bottom.
Gary, you
thought I cared?
Whatever. I don't know.
You are wildly overestimating the amount of buildings I had on my ship that I had to organize them.
I think I got up to like 4, maybe.
Kitchen and a garden.
I
And, yeah.
I got like the seed one, the farm one, the kitchen on top of that, and then there was the guest house and the deer's house.
Yep, same.
Yes. But yes, at some point I realized I regretted building the boat so fucking big because it got huge. Also, every person you met had a different requirement to get their house. Some people, you just invited them on the boat. Some people you had to just store it before they'd get on the boat. You'd have to maybe do some stuff before they'd even tell you to build a house for them. Like, sometimes you'd have to go to place 1 and talk to them and go to place 2 and that person had the plans for your house. And once you built the house, the guy would join. So,
Backtracking just a little bit, going back to the guest house, did any of you guys ever walk in the guest house when they were sleeping? That was terrifying. It was creepy. No one sits down, no one lays down. They all stand there, eyes half open with drool coming out of their mouth, all just staring like zombies.
when you get them their own houses, they sleep in they have beds in their own houses.
Yeah,
The
I
frog
saw that.
frog has like a weird swimming pool. Oh yeah. So speaking of how little I gave a fuck about words and others, at some point in the explanation of what you need to do, it's like, oh, well, you need to go talk to Azul, who is the frog, or you need to talk to this person, and I'm just like, God, just by the name, I don't know which of these, like, I just identify them by the weird animal they are. I did not get personally connected to any.
So Gary, I think you'd go with you don't recommend this game for people who have a extremely low attention span. Is that what I'm getting from this?
For people like me who just I shouldn't play single player games because I don't have the ability to be like, I'm gonna shut down. And I said, you guys played like 2 hours. I played 4 hours in my first sitting of it.
Yeah, Gary, actually, I know we've said you've played over 1 day. How many hours total did you actually play?
I think it was 50 hours. No, 20,
Over
25
2
hours.
days.
Oh, no,
Oh,
25 hours.
25 hours.
I took a picture of it.
That's actually amazing. Yeah, I think the rest of us
incredible.
25 hours, 27 minutes.
My
30
stats
seconds.
aren't correct, but I would say it's in between 1 and 2 hours. I don't think I ever hit 2.
I'm sure you got right to where we were. So I'm thinking, because I had 1 hour 55 minutes, Shats had 1 hour 56 minutes. He beat me by 1 minute.
Wow.
So I'm sure you were right at probably about 2 hours. So 6 hours combined for the three of us.
So a fraction of of Gary, who hates it.
Like, it was fun. It was something different, but maybe as if you said, if I would have taken a little more time and like spent the time to read it, but I was just like, originally I was just like, okay, I don't think this is going to be up my alley, so I'm just going to kind of grind into it. And once you get ground into it a certain bit, I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Tyler, would you recommend the game?
Um,
Or maybe a
I've
better
heard-
question is, who would you recommend the game to?
yeah, I've heard so much good things about this. And, like, definitely if you like story-driven games, this would probably be for you, because there's not all that much as far as, like, gameplay mechanics that you really have to know. They're all simple mechanics, basically, to the game, it feels like.
It's like a 5-button game.
Yeah, it's not too complicated.
So,
AX up is the zip line. I mean, just, spoiler alert.
so yeah, I mean, like, if you like story-driven games and just want something to kind of take all in and whatever, this is probably for you. But if you like games that are just go, that's probably not a game for you.
Yeah, I'd agree. If you want to take your time and just, I would say if you like games such as maybe Stardew Valley and like more anime, chill, relax type of games, and this is maybe for you. I don't know why I said anime. I feel like I'm gonna take that one back, but just it's got like a certain art style though. You know what I mean? It kind of fits into that category of.
So, if you were playing a little more chill, I feel like you could easily double the amount of time it took me to get to 50%. Easily double. Because some percentage of my time was like, where the fuck do I need to go? And if I dropped it and had to start again the next day, I would have struggled to like figure out what the hell I was doing and what the hell I need to do next.
So here's the question, Gary. how much do you think your inability to realize what you had to do next was because you weren't really reading everything, though? Like, it felt like I pulled up the map, went, okay, this island has this ingredients on there, so I would go there if I needed more berries.
Oh, no. You cannot see what is the fuck on an island until you visit it.
Yeah, but I would imagine though at some point in time there's a balance where you've played it enough to uncover a lot of the islands, so you know, okay, this has this ingredient on here, this has this ingredient on here, instead of balancing all.
If you look at my the chart, the first story progression stopper of you is the icebreaker. So you have to upgrade your ship so you can reach the other parts of the map. So if you were struggling to get that one element to do that, you would probably sit. I was trying to rush through, and I still ended up going back through and trying to like you'd end up revisiting islands a lot. But yes, once you visit the island, you can see if there's something that's missing. You can see what elements are there. So maybe it won't be so bad, but there were certain things that you needed to get that icebreaker, and then the next upgrade is a rock breaker for the front of your ship. But you guys spoke about the jellyfish. There was like 5 other different variants of those kind of like mini games that existed. There was one where comets come down from the sky, and you have to like collect comets off the deck of your boat, and they land on everything. There's one where you're chasing weird white lights.
There's a catch lightning in a bottle.
One where you bring a mama blob or a grandma blob, and you have to go run around and chase all of her children and then return them to the blob, and then you get nebula fiber. So there's lots of fun little mini games, and I guess in playing as a resource management game, there was plenty there to sink your teeth into. But no, I do not think that reading would have been the solution to all of life's problems.
Well, do you have any other thoughts on the game before we wrap up the discussion with that part?
I will say that I would almost certainly recommend this game as well.
I would recommend it too.
It is not the type of game like I said, I'm hardcore strategy. I love strategy games. It's not that type of game. But there are a lot of people in my life that I would know that would very strongly enjoy this game, strongly enjoy the chill, relax, and they would actually enjoy the fact that it took, like what Gary would say, 50 hours to get to that midway point, because they want something just to kind of immerse themselves in. Maybe something bad happened to them, maybe they're going through a struggle in life and they just want to lose themselves in kind of a little chipper but also kind of sad game. This would be the game for that.
Did anyone get a premise on, just thinking about sitting down and playing it, about how couch co-op would work? Because the second person could control the cat, and I assume you have the same abilities. Also, things you didn't know, you can change the cat's color. My cat is blue. I have a blue cat. When you get the lady who has a closet, you can change your outfit for the character, and you can change your hat color, your cat color, all that stuff. She passed on, so I have a pretty bitchin' outfit and a blue cat. So, anyway, I was just curious. Like, maybe it would be a little less stressful if I could have somebody else farming while I'm farming, and then you just went somewhere else. Like,
yeah,
I spent a lot of time farming.
It would be nice if there was an automatic rewatering, system.
Yeah, what a pain in the ass.
Agreed.
Okay, well, unless there's anything else, maybe we should prepare to spin the wheel for the next game.
Sure.
All right.
Sharing my screen over here.
Can you go through whenever it's up what we have for choices?
Yep.
Since I wasn't here.
Just let me know when everyone can see it.
I have to click watch stream for it.
Stream paused.
Oh, wait.
Shotzi is minimizing their application. Sit tight.
Okay, so it should be there, right?
Don't think.
No, you minimized it, so we can't see anything.
I didn't minimize it though. It's on my.
Well, it says you did.
Maybe you shared like a specific screen.
You share a specific app.
That's
I don't
right.
know. I don't know how the
I'll
hell.
try this again
Great.
here. Just go away. I don't want to read the. Okay. Screens. Yeah, I'll just share a screen. That'll be easier.
Bird, while we're waiting,
Yeah.
one question. Did you download the Game of Thrones board game, the digital edition? Because if not, you should. Because
I did not. I didn't know that was a thing. I've never played a digital board game.
I assume it's if you ever play digital Monopoly, I assume it's the same idea. Like you can play the
No,
board game,
nor would I.
but you don't have to deal with all the flipping, like remembering the rules. Like I assume it simplifies the game a little bit. Anyway, it's on Epic Games. You should definitely download it if it's not gone yet.
I think it's gone.
Fuck.
Great choices.
Here are the choices we have. So we have Anthem / whatever random game Gary is going to come up with if Anthem is completely busted. Dwarf Fortress, suggested by Steven there, which I'm just not. And then
Just
No
for the
Man's
record,
Sky.
Whatever is selected, I plan to give the 2 hours that you guys give into this next game. A solid 2 hours, and I'm done.
You could play it more, or we kind of said 2 hours there, Gary. It's like a minimum point to kind of.
I do not remember that conversation. Obviously, I could have quit.
Gary
I
doesn't
could have
pay
quit like a
attention.
week ago. I didn't pay attention. Was it a text message? Because I didn't read it.
It was the discussion we had last time.
Steven got my joke.
All right, here we go. Spin number 1 is. Wow, this thing spins for a while. No Man's Sky. All right. Spin number 2.
How many spins is it again?
We'll always do 3 spins.
All right.
Dwarf Fortress. Uh-oh.
Well, does that mean it's going to be Anthem?
All right, here we go. Third and final spin. What will it be? What will it be?
Oh,
Oh, No Man's Sky.
No Man's Another game I had a terrible bug experience with. Gosh dang it.
You go.
Oh, I could play this one in VR though.
oh, that sounds awesome.
There you go.
Ooh. What can we play this game on? Whose choice was this?
This was mine, and this is on PC Game Pass for sure. And I think it might be on the Xbox Game Pass. I don't
It
entirely
is on
know.
Xbox.
Is there crossplay, or if I want to touch your space?
It
places,
should
I
be,
have
right?
to,
We should all play together.
Yeah.
Let's take a look here to see if it's got the crossplay in it. Well, here, we'll take a look after the recording's done here. All right.
And then we'll know for the next episode if I could touch their special space place.
Oh, that's Gary, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. Well,
Oh.
that should do it for us here. Any final remarks from anyone, or? Good to
I'm
go?
enjoying this. I'm having a good time. I never would have played Spiritfarer. I never would have.
I never played Spiritfarer. Obviously, Perd would have never played Spiritfarer. None of us would have ever played Spiritfarer.
Yeah, well, maybe with our next season, I'll have to throw in the game I meant to. That game is a game I'll say I don't think Gary would like, though, judging from today.
Let's just rule of averages and assume that I'll deduct 1 day from how long I'm going to play that game. Just deduct 1 day.
All right, well, that should do it for this episode of the Game Club podcast. Join us next time when we discuss No Man's Sky. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Bye.
Good day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Hello, you're listening to the Game Club.
You want to start that one over
I'll
there?
start that
Let's
one.
put that at the end in the blooper reel. Bum, bum, bum.
All right, Perd, one more time for me.
Spiritfarer.
All right, here we go.